think it's recording. All right. So, welcome to the SolidWorks workshop. And let's see here. How many of you guys have installed SolidWorks? Okay. Yep. And then,
I can't get it to install.
what's up, Tushu?
I can't get it to install. I don't know how.
Can't?
I can't find it.
Can't find it. Okay. All right. Like, what do you mean you can't find it? Like, you can't find it on the web store, or
No, I can't find a way to install
can't find a way?
it because I have the receipt from the store, so I have it, but I don't know how to install it because it doesn't give me a link.
There's like a little button that you push, I think, instead.
Yeah, you should get the installation button, or at least the exe download button at the end of your purchase.
Yeah, it wasn't there. I think.
It's like a little small green button here. Let's see if I can find it together. Ba-ba-ba. Okay, so you have your receipt, right? So you have your web store receipt?
Yeah.
So head on over to that in your email, and then you'll see like order information, customer address. Under additional information, click order details.
Oh, I see. Found it. Okay, I'll just follow that.
And then
So,
once you get
once you get the installation started, I'm not gonna lie, it takes a very long time. So I will just get started with this how to make an iPhone thing, and then I'm gonna upload some files later too to the SolidWorks workshop chat, which is gonna include the actual SolidWorks part that I made. It's gonna include a drawing with all the dimensions. So if you want to practice it with your SolidWorks, you can also. Okay. All right. All right. So let me start with opening Solid. I'm minimizing it. Okay. All right.
Enter your serial number. Where is it?
You guys see this? My SolidWorks screen?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you open SolidWorks, the first thing that's going to pop out is this. That's like the welcome thing. Here is where you can start making a part, an assembly, a drawing, etc. Or you could even open your previous files right here. The reason why it says file not found is because I deleted these and put them into a zip folder, and the computer, it just can't find them where it originally thought it was. But for this point, we're just going to start with opening a new part. So you click part. Takes a little bit. Basically everything open up right here. So this is the area right here where you basically get to play with. Here is the features where you could do. So you could like extrude a base, revolve around a base. You could do your sketches with, here's all your like line, box, circle, everything you could do. And then evaluate, there's like a little handy measuring tape which you could measure to. So like let's say for example, I draw like a line from here to here. Okay. And then let's say I click evaluate and then click measure and click on this line. It'll tell me how long the line is. So like 3.65 inches. So that's one cool thing. Also too, since SolidWorks, it works in like a 3D space. So like X, Y, and Z, here's your axes. And then here's also your planes. So the first ones you start. So if you want to see these planes, you could right click and you see this little eyeball right here. You'll click show, and then now you see it. And if you want, you could do it to all of them. I normally just leave them invisible unless if I'm working on that plane itself, so that way I don't get confused. So in this case, we're just going to work on the front plane. So then I click front plane, and then let's say I want to start. Let's say I want to start drawing on the front plane. So then I'll right click on the front plane, click sketch, and it'll take me to the front plane. So from here, right here is your origin. So if you want to reference everything from the origin, it's probably a good idea. So for this iPhone charger, I'm going to start making the base of the box right here. So I'm going to click here. And then these are the different options of boxes you could do. So you could do from corner to corner like this. You can do a 3-point box where you basically do 1, 2, and then you could pick the third point up to here. You could, same thing right here, or but for this case, I like to do this one. So I'll just click the center of the box right here, the origin, and then I'll just okay, there. So you click center of the box, then you can just extend it out. Doesn't matter at this point because next we're going to use smart dimensioning. Oh wait, I forgot. This is the most important thing. So this is right here in the corner right here where you see IPS. This is where you could change your units of measurement. So like, let's say if you want to work in inches, pounds, second, then you click there. Millimeters, grams, second, centimeter, gram, second, meter, kilogram, second. This is really important, but especially if, let's say if you're working in meters, or let's say someone gives you a drawing and they want it done in meters, but then if you've done it in inches, then obviously the dimensions are going to be completely off. So that's almost a mistake that I did. But in this case, we're going to work in millimeters, grams, second. So now, all right. So now I am going to work in millimeters, grams, second. Sorry about that. Box. There we go. All right, so now with the smart dimensioning tool, you will take this and we're gonna get the measurements of the box. So I want this side to be 25 millimeters. And then I want this side to be 25 millimeters as well. Okay, so now I have my box. Now next we're gonna extrude it. So go to features, click extrude base. And then, so this right here, you could see how far it's gonna come out. So, and then you could change the measurements right there. So right here, I'm gonna change it to 28 millimeters. Okay, now once I have the desired length, I just click OK right here, which is a check mark. And then now it extruded my base. So now I have my little plug ready. Now next what I want to do is I'm going to create the part where you put in the USB port. So there's a handy tool with this that you could either just turn it around like this and then just right click on the face that you want to work on and click sketch. Or if you click spacebar, then you see this pop up. And then you could just click on this side right here, and then I'll just automatically align everything for you. So that way it's nice and straight. Or if you want difference, you could even click on the Z mark right here, and I'll do the same thing. Either one is good. It's up to you. I normally like to click the space bar. So now that I have that, I'm going to right click on the face, and I'm going to click sketch. So now I'm going to be able to draw on this side of the face of the box only. So then I'll click my box. And I'll just draw my little box right here. It doesn't matter because next I'm going to do the smart dimensioning to want the desired dimensions that I want. So next I'm going to click here and here. And I want this to be 13 millimeters. And I'm going to go from here to here. And I want this to be 6 millimeters. And then I want the actual port size to be 11. No, it's going to be 13. 13. Yep. And then I want this to be 6. Okay. And next, I'm going to create the second box. So this will be inside this little box right here. Then you'll see what it's going to do. So then I'll do the same thing like how I did out here, but instead of referencing to these lines outside, I'm going to reference it to this inner box right here. So I'll click this line. So these two lines I want to be 1 millimeter. Then from here to here, I want this to be 1. Okay. And then I want this length to be 11. And then I want this. I want this whole thing to be 2. Okay. Then you click OK when you're done with all your dimensions. So now that I have a box within a box, now next we're going to make the hole where you plug into the actual USB part. So you click here in features, then you click extrude cut. Now the reason why I did a box within a box is because when I click extrude cut, it's only going to cut this inner yellow part, but it's going to leave this part right here that's blue alone. So if you look into the side right here, so you see these yellow lines, that's the actual like part that it's going to cut into. And if you see right here how it's 28 millimeters, so that it automatically does it to how long the box is, because it's going to assume that you want to cut all the way through. In our case, we don't want to do that. So we're only going to cut to 12 millimeters. So you see how it shrunk? So it's only going to cut up to there, and then that's it. Once you got that, you click OK. And then that's our little USB port. So now we'll go around. And then right here is where we're going to put the 2 prongs to plug into the outlet. So same thing, space, click here, get everything lined up. Then I'll right click here, click sketch. And then next I will do same thing, get a little box right here, a line. Now smart dimension. And I want this to be 9.5. And I want this to be 6. And then this is going to be a width of 1. Let's see what else. Yep, and I want from here to here. I want this to be 6. And then, let's see. Yep, and then, so next, and then I want, now that since I just drew this, the next thing I want to do is I want to line up this point to this origin. So like right now, if I were to grab it, yeah, so if I right click here, there, and then click here, I want to make sure that they're lined up. Then you can add the relation to be horizontal. So then this will just make sure it's lined up. Make sure that it's not going to move anywhere. And then next we want to make the second prong. So that you could either do this or you could just do the mirror feature. And honestly, it'll be better if you just do the mirror feature because if you do the mirror feature, which will be this one right here, whatever you change on this side, it's going to automatically do it on this side. And that's going to be a lot easier to fix, especially if you do a mistake. Because if let's say I do the two prongs separately, like how I did like right here, if I change something to this, it's not going to change something to this. And then if I give it to, let's say, Chris or someone that wants to change something, they're going to have to literally go step by step and change it every single time. Whereas if, like, let's say he wanted to change this from 6 to 8, it's going to automatically change this from 6 to 8. So to do that, I'm going to create a line and I'm going to have it go down the origin. Like that. But I'm not going to leave it a solid line right here. So I'm going to click the line, click for construction. And then now you see it's dashed. And then that's what I want. Because now that it's a construction line, SolidWorks is just going to recognize it that it's not an existing line, that we could just work with it. So then I just click mirror entities. And I want to mirror this right here. And I want it to mirror about this line. So I'll give you a preview of what's going to look like. Then you just click OK. So see, now I just mirrored it about the line. So, and if you want to see what I mean by, so like let's say 6. I think it might be already aligned. That's why I gave you that error. Just do that. Sorry about that. Okay, mirror entities. I want to mirror all this. Put that right there. Okay. So yeah, like I said, if I want to change this to 6 to 8, if I change it to 6 with a 9, let's say, now I just increase that. See? So it makes it a lot easier to fix. All right, so now that I did that, I'm going to same thing, go to features, extrude broad base. And you can see how far it's extending out. And I want this to extend out to 16. Then click OK. And there's my prongs. So now no prong looks like this at the end. So now we're gonna create a chamfer. Now to make a chamfer, what we're gonna do is click right here in the fillets, click the drop down arrow, and then you go to chamfers. All right. Now then you want to click on. You don't want to click on the actual like this part right here or anything. You want to click on this line. But you don't want to click on the face, just like how I did. So, yep, and then you click on this line. And you want to click on all the edges that you want to do it, so you just do it all at once. And then you see these little previews right here, the little yellow marks. I like to see the little previews because you get to see what it looks like before you cut it. If you don't want it, you could just click right here and click no preview. Or if you just want to see one of them, you just do partial preview and it'll just show you just for the last one that you click. So you just click for full preview. And then next, there are 4 different ways to make a chamfer, which are your options right here. So there's the angle one, angle distance. There's a distance to distance. There's offset face, and there is face to face. So if like, let's say if you want to get this at a specific angle, so right now it's automatically set to 45 degrees and it was at 10 millimeters, but I changed it to 1 just so you can see how it looks. So like, let's say if I wanted this at like 60, then I changed this at 60. And then it's going to change the angle of this to a 60-degree angle. But for this case, we're going to do the distance to distance, and then change this from symmetric to asymmetric. So now the reason why I don't see it is because it's so big, so I'll just change this back to 1. Okay, so this is going to extend. So if you see, like if I change it to 5, so it's going to extend, this is going to extend this way. And if I change this to, like, let's say 4, that is going to extend downwards. So in our case, we're going to change this to 5 and change this to 1.5. Okay. Now we got that, click OK. And now we got our triggers. Now next we're going to make the 2 holes that go into the prong. So now we're going to right click on this face, click sketch, get everything lined up. Go to my circle option, and I want to click this one so I could just, and then you see this little dot dash line right there. That's just that it lines up everything to the origin. That's what I want to get right there. Just click that. Just make an arbitrary circle. Click smart dimension, and I want this circle to be I want this circle to be 4 inches from the end, or no, 4 millimeters from the end. And yep, there we go. Now, and then I want the circle itself to have a diameter of 3 millimeters. Okay, now that I got that, I'm going to click extrude cut. Make sure it goes through both of the prongs. If it goes like all the way through like that, it's fine. If you want to have it just go just to the right amount, you could adjust it right here. But for me, I'll just leave it like this. Click OK. Makes the 2 holes. And now, last but not least, we're going to smooth these corners out because an iPhone charger does not look like a box. So now we're going to make the fillet. So I'll go to fillets. And then here are your fillet types. In this case, we're going to use this one. And I want to click on all the corners that I want the fillets. All right. And now that I got that set, I'm going to change the radius of the fillets from 10 to 5. Click OK. And there it is, your iPhone charger. And then let's say if your professor asks is that they want it set automatically when they open it to an isometric view, you can just click Control-7 and it changes it to an isometric view. Or if let's say they don't want it as a solid part, they want to see like a wire form, then you click right here, and here's a little drop-down arrow box. So you got this shaded with edges line, which is this right here. You could do the hidden lines removed, which is just the same thing, but it's just hollowed out. Or if they want to see everything, you can click this, and it shows everything like if it's like you can see through it. And if let's say if you want to show all the dimensions that we drew throughout this whole thing, you right-click annotations, click show featured dimensions, and it'll show all the dimensions that we did. And that's it. Any questions?
How did you adjust the dimensions of a thing again? I tried doing it, but I couldn't find an option to modify.
Which one?
Just for anything. If you're trying to do like a box and you're trying to change it from like 4.8 to 4 inches or something. So you're trying to modify.
Oh, to change from like inches to millimeters and stuff like that? Or what do you mean?
No, it's
Change the actual values of the dimensions from, let's say, 7 millimeters to 4 millimeters.
Oh, you do smart dimension right here. You go to sketch and click smart dimension.
okay.
Like that. Like here. Like let's say I drew this line right. Like you mean if I drew this line right here and if I want to change it, just click smart dimension and just click on it. So you can see that, and then it should just pop this box, and you just type in whatever you need.
Oh,
Is that what you meant?
yeah.
Just a quick question, Alex. There was the last action that you performed, the show all dimensions. Where is that?
You click on annotations right here, right click, and click show feature dimensions.
Show feature dimensions. Thank you. I actually didn't know about that.
Chris being studious, he's writing it down.
Find something that you're interested in. Absolutely. I love it. Learn new things.
Show feature dimensions, it shows all the dimensions right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alex.
My first workshop, a little nervous, as you could tell by some of the mistakes I made. But in the end, it looks like an iPhone charger. It won't work like one because it'll probably be made out of plastic. But yeah. Yeah. And then you could even do a little bit more cool stuff too. Like you could even like change the color and stuff. Yeah, so if you click here, there's like, oh wait, I gotta move these, all your faces. Yeah, so like if you click here, then you got like all those little fun parts if you want to get all creative and whatnot. Like let's say, yep, there, look, now it's teal, or you can make it blue, or green, or red. If you want to do all that, and you just do that, and then you just click color, or select, and you can do that right here. Oh yeah, and then apply scene. This is, yeah, so this will just change the background of SolidWorks itself. I think it was who was it? I think it was Mike Bacala or someone when they were making the report for the rocket. They put it like in, they made it look like it was flying in space. So when they cut it through, it looked like the rocket in SolidWorks was already flying in space. So yeah, you could have fun with that too. Or like see like urban background. Oh look, it's in the street. So yeah, it's just like fun things to play around with if you want to make it look nicer.
Hey, where'd you see that?
Right here, on the top right here.
Oh,
It looks like a little like 4-color ball, and this is apply scene. Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of different ones where you could even manage your favorites, and then like I think you could even download different backgrounds too. But that is a different thing which I don't know how to do. Yeah. Oh, and then there's this too. There's this feature too, which is a section view. So like, let's say if you want to cut the section in half. So this, you could even just cut it in half like that, and I'll just show you. It'll literally cut the iPhone charger in half. So if you just want to see what it looks like half of it, and then if you want to get rid of it, just deselect it, and then I'll change it back to normal. So yeah. All right. Any more questions, guys? Nope. All right. I want to stop sharing my screen then. And that's it. Yay.
Well done.
Congrats. Very good.
I like
Yeah.
SolidWorks. I think it's really fun. Um, you may have to use it a lot in your career. You may not. It really depends on what you want to do for your career. If you're planning to go work like machining or factory and stuff, you really want to probably get a good idea of how to do it. Just because, especially if you're making these kind of drawings, like this is what I was. Oh wait, you can't see too much. So. Hang on. Let me get rid of space. There we go. Yeah, like I was reading this when I was trying to read your dimensions. Like I just made this on the fly right now. I could tell you right now, the way I made these dimensions, it is not professional. This is just something I made on the fly so I could quickly see. That's why it took me a little bit to read, and it was a little bit hard to read. And I regretted the way I lined them up. But you want to make this look a lot nicer when you're adding the dimensions. Otherwise, when you as an engineer go to your career and then you hand these prints to someone that's a machinist and be like, hey, make this. And then they're going to look at you and be like, what the hell is this? Because they can't read it. And then they're probably just going to throw it back at you and be like, make this nicer. So just warning you. So, yeah. You want to make everything look nice and neat. Oh, there's a question. Okay.
All too often have we gone to Gary with like some kind of part and there's a square hole and we're all like, yeah, you can cut this right.
What was it? I think it was Pat. He said it's easier to make a hole into a square than it is to make a square into a hole. Is that what he said?
What the fuck does that mean? Square into a hole.
Thought squares were the hardest thing to make. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, because it is extremely hard to get a perfect square.
Yeah,
Like,
you're gonna
almost,
have
like
to like
it's almost
curved a little
impossible.
bit. Yeah.
I think it's something like that. Like he said, like it's easier to make a square into a hole than it is, or a square into a circle than it is to make a circle into a square.
Yeah, that would make more sense, I think.
And if you get good at SolidWorks and then especially if you talk to the machinists a lot, especially ones at UIC, you'll learn very quickly the limits of what machining can and can't do, and then it would save yourself a lot of time, and it'll help make your machinist like you, which would probably help you out a lot in completing your projects. Because if your machinist like you, they're gonna complete your projects faster. Yeah. And then you'll learn that some things are easy to do 3D printing and versus actual machining, or some parts like you could probably machine it, but it's going to be a lot of money because they're going to have to be very accurate. So it's just things you pick up on. Oh crap! Apparently Tushu got out.
Do you know how to make tolerances on SolidWorks? I used to remember how to do that, but I know that's like one thing that affects the machinists a lot too.
Tolerancing?
You know, yeah.
Tolerancing we'll probably deal with in a different workshop, but
Oh
tolerancing
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, tolerancing deals more with drawings. So we'll figure out that whole game plan with that, because tolerances becomes a whole other can of worms and it's gross. But
Yeah,
we'll definitely
I recall that.
We'll definitely discuss it though. It'll be fun.
Cool.
And it's like the same thing too. It's like the more accurate you want your tolerancing, the more expensive your part's gonna be. I do remember one time I asked Gary to make something and I put a tolerance in, and he's like, "Is that how accurate you really want it to? Because if not, it's gonna take me a couple weeks." And I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "No, just give it a rough eyeball, and that's good enough." Yeah.
Dude, for some reason, I just can't change the dimensions of this thing that I made.
Can you share your screen?
It's on another laptop, but
Okay.
I'll just say the words. Like, when I saw you modify it, I saw you just like type some numbers and some primary values, but I can't type anything to my box for some reason. So,
Did you click on the actual dimension part, like the actual number, and then did it pop up?
no, it isn't. It just does nothing.
Is that the only measurement you have, or are there like 4 other ones that it's trying to work around?
Yeah, just one.
Okay, never mind.
God damn it.
You figured it out, Jenny? No. Workshop would have been easier in person. Damn COVID.
You are not wrong. Good lord.
Well, I have an error message.
What's up?
Let's see,
But maybe later on today or something, I'll make like just a quick drawing of how something that's like properly dimensioned on a drawing should look like. Versus, and then and then you could clearly see the one that I made that like looks horrible, and you can see the difference, and like
Sounds good.
how it'll look neater versus bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a quick video to you of what's wrong with my thingy.
so that's the error message I just got.
When you're trying to install SolidWorks?
No, I already installed it. I'm trying to open it up.
Oh, you're trying to open it up. I don't know. I've never seen that error before. What kind of computer do you have?
It's custom.
Oh,
Custom?
oh my god, it worked for me. Never mind.
Okay, that's good, Jenny. Chris, have you seen that error before?
I haven't seen it before personally, and it appears to be something that has happened just this year. Because I'm actually looking at the SolidWorks forum, and this was an issue that got brought up in April and hasn't been resolved yet. So I'll ping around and see if I can find anything.
I've never seen that error before. Did they come out with a new version of SolidWorks yet or no? Because I had the 2019, 2020. Is there a 2020, 2021?
Okay, so I think the problem is with the new set of buttons or something. It gave me the options if I wanted to update it. Appears to be the problem with that.
Hmm.
Oh no, it's the simulation.
Are you trying to run a simulation?
No, I'm trying to open up SolidWorks 2020.
Alex, what should you click on to make it cut in half?
Sorry, what?
Cut the charger in half. What should you click on?
If you go onto the top right, like you know how you change the colors and everything, it should look like a donut that's cut in half.
Where is?
Like on the left side.
Okay, I got it logged in.
Get it? Okay.
It's the simulation thing. Simulation.
Wait, the colors. Okay, so this is where I see the colors. So for the donut thing, are you talking about like over here?
No, go back to put your finger back to where the color is. Move to your left. Left.
Okay. Wait. Over here?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
Oh, this one.
That
Okay,
one.
thanks. I was like, what does a donut look like?
I got Krispy Kreme donuts upstairs. I'll show you one.
Oh, it looks neat.
Well, I'm gonna stop this recording then.
Okay.
So that way it's not too long, and then I can put it up on the Discord.